Hey everyone, Miss Silbernagel here. We're going to talk about the Walk Two Moons chapters that you just read on Monday, chapters 5 through 8. And we're just going to go over what happened and what's really important. All right, so chapter 5, A Damsel in Distress. This chapter highlights the trouble that follows Graham and Gramps while they are on the road. Sal tells us that they were arrested in Washington, D.C. 2 years ago because they stole a senator's tires. And they didn't really understand why that was bad. While Graham and Gramps don't mean to cause trouble, they sure know how to start it. For example, in this chapter, while they were on the road, Gramps sees a woman with a broken down car. He tries to help her, but really, he just starts pulling parts out of her engine, and he doesn't know how to fix it. He calls them snakes. They're really hoses and tubes that you would find in an engine. Then he walks away and the engine is in pieces. Thanks for the help, old man. All right, in chapter 6, this one's called Blackberries. There are 3 female characters that they talk about to an extent in this chapter. The first one is Miss Winterbottom. Sal continues on about her story about Phoebe. She talks about how picky the Winterbottom family is and about their food and how everyone is a little bit uncomfortable around each other. She notices that Miss Winterbottom doesn't actually like all the baking and the cleaning around the house, but she sure does talk about it a lot like it's a positive thing. But nobody listens. The next character they talk about is Miss Cadaver. They often use the word Margaret instead of Miss Cadaver. They use her first name sometimes, so don't get that confused. Miss Margaret, Miss Cadaver, they're all the same person. Phoebe swears Miss Margaret Cadaver is as strong as an ox and that she killed her husband. And then that she buried him in her backyard. The next woman that they talk about is Sugar Hiddle, or Sal's mom. She actually has that memory because of the blackberries. Sal remembers her mom and dad's relationship. Sal's dad brings her flowers in the morning and those blackberries. And when Sugar goes outside to say thank you, she sees that he has fixed a section of fencing on the farm. Sal's mom starts crying instead of being happy the way Sal thought she would be happy. Also, Sal's mom was pregnant at the time. So Sal thought it was going to be a happy memory for her, but instead it turned out to be a sad one. Sal also mentions in this section that she felt betrayed that her mom was sad. We'll go over that here in just a second. So what happened to the baby? Sal does not talk about having a sibling. All right, so a big topic here is this idea of being in a depression. Sal talks about characters in the story not feeling good enough. Miss Winterbottom keeps trying to talk to her family about the pies and wanting to start a new job, but no one seems to care. And often when she does talk, she lets off a big sigh because she knows no one is really paying attention to her. That's a sign of depression. Sal's mom at the end of chapter 6 says, "See, I'm almost as good as your father." When you're comparing yourself to someone else and you're constantly saying something like, "They're better than me," it's a sign of depression. In chapter 7, Sal talks about how she was a mirror to her mother's feelings. She would be happy when her mom was happy, and she would be sad when her mom was sad. So in that last section, we talked about Sal felt like she was betrayed because her mom was sad about the memory of fixing the fence and getting those flowers in the morning. Sal thought she was going to be happy, but in reality, it made her sad because she felt like she wasn't good enough. So Sal said she felt betrayed because it should have been a happy thing that she got flowers and blackberries in the morning, and instead it made her feel sad. So she felt betrayed because it wasn't the emotion she thought she was going to have. All right. She remembers seeing a baby cow in the fields and knowing that she was happy at the moment in time. She says, I was surprised to know this all by myself without my mother there. And that night in bed, I did not cry. I said to myself, Salamanca Tree Hiddle, you can be happy without her. What an interesting thing to remember when you look at a cow or see blackberries. The lunatic. Mystery. Who is the lunatic? Why did he randomly show up to Phoebe's house? Why is Phoebe being so weird and lying about who's home and who's not home? Why does Phoebe think he's a lunatic before she even opens the door? We'll find out all of this later on in the story. All right, guys, have a good day. Come back into the Google Meet and see me. We'll talk more about what happened.